freshman.
Yeah.
Just a wee baby Luna off into this random city in Italy. Yeah. It was weird.
Like, I know that you, like, over time, it was, like, super cool. How often did we talk about your ninth grade sort of Italy experience? Because I don't remember much about that, if we did talk about it at all.
No, I feel like we have. Okay, so is this where I go into, like, the in-depth explanation bit? Okay, so let me explain. Also, because, like, I feel like Italy is not a very obvious high school choice. Like, why would you go to Italy? You know what I mean?
You're half Italian, so.
Yes, exactly. You see, I was leading up to that, Bryson. You stole my punchline.
Oh, okay, my bad. I'll let you finish.
Anyways, because I'm half Italian. Surprise! God damn it.
Oops.
Anyways, yeah, so it was a bit of a culture shock because I feel like in China, you don't really know much about Italy. Like, you have this very romantic idea of what Europe would be like. And I mean, because I am half Italian, I have been to Italy, like, on several occasions to visit, like, my dad's side of family and just for holiday, I suppose. But I was, like, really young. So I don't have, like, a very well-connected, like, narrative of what it would be like. And because since I'm mixed-raced, I have a very different experience in China than most of my other peers. Like, because I am Chinese, but I'm also not. Like, I don't look Chinese. But I am raised by, like, my mom, who's very Chinese. And I said Chinese way too much in this sentence, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, just, yeah. So when I went to Italy, I think it was just a bit of like like, I was expecting that I would finally find that one place I would fit into. Like, oh, I didn't really fit in China because I didn't look Chinese. And, you know, I was always considered as, like, the foreigner. So when I went to, which, by the way, in China, it's like a big thing. Just call someone, like, the foreigner, like, what, you know? Like, come on. So I went to Italy, and it was just, like, suddenly I realized, like, in Italy, I'm not Italian, I'm Chinese, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a bit weird, but I think that's maybe less cultural and more because I'm mixed race. Although definitely culture plays a big part in it as well. Yeah. But I'm sure, like, you must have a similar experience in, like, living in China for so long and then going back to the US.
Not in the sense that, not in the same sense as you. Like, yours is, like, because someone would look at you and see you as something different. My issue came because people would look at me and see, when black people looked at me, they'd see a sameness and then get shocked when that sameness wasn't there. And then when it was anyone else in the States, they would see not a sameness, but a familiarity, and then be surprised when that familiarity wasn't there. So it's not like, like, from what you described, it seems like wherever you went, you were always different. But in one place I was different, and then in another place I was expected to be the same. And so, not exactly the same thing.
I do see your point, though. Yeah. And I think that's why I always drifted back to international school. Because my first year in Italy, I went to, like, an Italian public school. And then I was like, no, I need to be part. I need to go back to those, like, culturally confused kids. I need to go back to international school. So yeah, I went to Milan International School. Shout out to all my best friends there. Don't know why I said that, but it is said.
Look, you can put this on your Instagram story and I could get more viewers. It's a win-win.
No, you know I'm gonna put it on my Instagram story.
On my last one, like 6 people viewed it in 2 days, which is like the lowest count of people I got listening to an episode, which might be because the title was so, controversial, quote unquote, but.
Wait, episode 9?
Yeah.
No, I think it's because you dropped it out of, like, nowhere.
Well, Thursday's I guess I hadn't really did any build up to it, I suppose.
Yeah, because you usually do, like, preparing my episode, the episode is uploaded. This one you just went silence. Ding! You know what I mean?
I forgot. I had class that morning, and I had a lab after my class, and then I had to listen to, like, a couple hours worth of podcasts for another class. And so midway through listening to one of those podcasts, I was like, oh man, I forgot to upload. And so
God. Yeah. No, let's talk more about what you meant with like, what people would expect and contradicting it. Yeah. Do you want to elaborate?
Okay, so okay, this one's funny. I love this. I love this story. I don't tell it enough. So there's a brief stint. I don't know if you remember this, where I left Biba for about 4 months. And like, I wasn't there. I was in the States. I was doing school in the US. I didn't come back straight away for 7th grade. Did I?
So you need to know that middle school is just doesn't exist for me. It's a very blurred memory.
No. I was there. I came back straight away for 7th grade, but I left early. I left in like February, March.
Yeah, maybe that's why I thought you weren't there.
Yeah, so I did school here in the States. I did the latter half of my 7th grade here in the States in a place called Murfreesboro Middle School, which is like in my grandma's sort of town. Tiny place. Population's like 10,000 people. Across the county, which is very small. When you look at the entire size of the county. But I came back here, and when I first got back and I got enrolled into the school system and I met some people, like I think it was an English class or a history class. I think it was a history class. I don't know what kind of class that sucker was, but I get in and one of the kids in there, asked me, "Oh, where are you from?" And I'm like, short answer or long answer? And they go, long answer. So I was like, well, I was born here, but I lived in Dubai, and then I just got back from China. And then they're like, you're from China, but this is small town America, and this is like country kids. And so she screamed it out loud because she was shocked. Immediately, the whole class gets disrupted and turns to look at me and is like, wait, you're from China? It's like, but you're black. You can't be this room is full of black kids. Small town black kids are something different. Like, I will hear nothing unless you have lived there. Don't tell me about how they are. I hear people try to tell, no, you don't know until you're there. They are something special. I love them though, cause it's my family down there too. But immediately gets up, screams, "Oh, you're from China!" Everyone in the classroom. The teacher at this point is pissed, but I'll come back to her. So they just berate me with questions. And then one girl finally asked, "What do you like more, China or America?" And I had answered, well, China, just because, I'd been abroad at that point almost the same amount of time I'd been alive. I was a year off. So, so I was like, well, I like China more. I was just really enjoying being there, especially 7th grade. 7th grade was awesome. And the whole class just got like rowdy. How can you like China more than America? Chinese people are this, China's that. So much ignorance, and I couldn't stand it. And the teacher finally gets the class to calm back down, but a bunch of people are up in arms about me, and I'm getting stared at for the rest of the class because now I am different. It's really weird. And then at the end of class, the teacher's pissed off at me for being disruptive. But I'm like, I just answered a question. So I had to apologize to the but for the rest of my time there, I was some spectacle of an individual. When I first got into my math class, that same week, we got our content. The next week, we had our test. And on my first test at the school that I just got to, I got 98%. The only reason I didn't get 100% of that test is because I ran out of time. People freaked out again. Just to
throw that in there. Well, just like make sure.
I say that to say.
I could have, but.
Well, yeah, I guess that extra detail is unnecessary. But, just so you know, big brain. Anyway, the girls in the class, the smartest girl in the class who remember, small town, people really cling on to these identities. So she's the smartest girl in the class. I scored a point better than she did. And she got her friends together and is like, how's this new boy going to show up and start performing better than everybody else in this class? Like, what is this? Once again, I explained I went to international school. Now they're mad at me. So it's this really weird, here's some sort of expectation, but because of, this, there's an expectation of sameness and I don't display that. And so it's met with either surprise or hostility.
That's so interesting. I'm really sorry you had to go through that.
No, I think it's funny.
It's so interesting. I just didn't, I don't know. I never expected that was something that would happen. To have this certain role assigned to people and then when you don't meet their expectations, they get mad at you.
That's why I get so mad about this country sometimes.
Sometimes. Yeah. Well, now I lost my train of thought. Yeah, no, I was gonna say that we planned tangents.
Into the episode. Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, because Bryson and I go off on a lot of tangents, which I think is very evident from the first part of the episode. Like, but I thought we could talk about pop culture.
Okay.
And because I feel like that is a big part of your cultural identity, pop culture. And I say this because I think for the longest time, I was just not, like, I did not know anything about Chinese pop culture. Like, I don't know any of the celebrities. I don't know the shows. I mean, I know some shows, but like, you know, I was just kind of like out of it. Yeah. And so when I went to Italy and I met my really good friends, Luna and Ying, and they are Chinese, but raised in Italy. And they knew more Chinese pop culture than me. And I think that was the moment where I was like, ah, crap, am I actually Chinese? You know what I mean?
Well, do you think that may have, you know, you, I mean, spent the bulk of your early life in China, but they are Chinese and spending the bulk of their early life in Italy. Do you think there might have been a stronger desire to attach to their, like, ethnic cultural background for them than there was for you?
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, I can't speak for them, but I think, you know, I didn't really value my heritage until I went to Italy. Actually, fun story. I used to get mad at people when they called me white when I was in Italy. I would get really mad. I was like, I'm not. I'm Asian. But that's probably because I am like, I can pass as someone who's white. Yeah, and I was just so offended when they told me that. And then I think that's when I was like, nah, screw it. I don't want to be seen as Italian. I want to be Chinese, like only Chinese. And I just like latched onto it and I started, I don't know, like kind of paying more attention to things that are like very traditionally Beijing or Chinese. So snacks, I think, is a big one, like food culturally. I mean, like, I think like if you can bond with someone, like someone who's Chinese, it's a lot of times, I think I bond with them because of food.
Oh, it's food.
Like I'll just go like,
it's always food.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I've met strangers
it's just,
and yeah, it's always food.
and just go hot pot. Yes. You know, like,
do you want
and
some
I think
street food?
Also because like China does have very like unique food, like street food and things that like Chinese people actually eat. Yeah, it's fucking amazing. Sorry, I just swore again.
I'm just gonna mark this episode as explicit. We're just gonna have to.
And I feel like, you know, when I was in Italy, like because suddenly I was recognized almost as someone who's not Chinese, I just latched onto that. I was like, no, completely Chinese here. I am Chinese. Like, yeah, I had to like prove my ethnicity, I suppose. So I guess maybe for people who grew up in Italy, but are actually like, you know, are ethnically Chinese, but culturally, I suppose both, they would also have this curiosity just to know more about China. And, you know, at least for my friends, I know that they would go to holiday a lot of times in China to visit their like, relatives and stuff. So I suppose for them there, it also reinforces this connection that they have. And I guess it's just like the same reason why when I was in China for like the early half of my life, I was like really knowledgeable in like Western pop culture. Yeah, like I remember talking to some people and I was like, yeah, I love the Beatles. And they were like, who's the Beatles? And I was like, I was so confused. I was like, what? You guys don't know who the Beatles are? Yeah, I think, yeah. This is a tangent that I lost myself on again.
No, it's good. You know, I think it's interesting because when I first got to Beijing, for my first 2-3 years there, I vehemently rejected anything that wasn't Western culture. And I cannot tell you why I did that. I don't have a good reason for it. I can't look back now and go like, well, why did I do that? I guess, yeah, finding